Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors GNN news review. It's here, the new Hatsune Miku collaboration cards have been announced. This week I have my work cut out for me with so much content being released at once, so without further ado, let's get started. This new seal comes with 10 characters and 4 of them being rare cards. The 4 jackpot cards will come with a new song and a new craft, so I'm really excited to play the new rhythm games during Dragonic Compulsion. The rare characters also have a new team skill mechanic that also takes aspects from a rhythm game. From what I understand, the HP bar will be synchronized with the stage music, and if you start your movement alongside the beat of the music, you will be able to benefit from a 1.39 team attack bonus and recovery bonus. The great thing about this is that there is no downside if you fail, and in my opinion, I like this rhythm team skill better because it's more flexible and you don't have to wait until the bar depletes. Furthermore, you can also use time tunnel skills with it, which is going to be great. Additionally, the rare characters also bypass the Machina weakness by immediately granting 100% fuel at the beginning of the battle. You also get a cooldown reduction and fully recover HP after triggering Dragonic Compulsion, which is really nice but definitely more situational. All in all, I think that this team skill is amazing for the new collaboration cards. Before we start looking at the jackpot card, you should know that each one of them will have a jackpot specific skill related to their corresponding emotion. When they trigger this passive skill, the character will gain a new team skill and gain a stat boost. These skills are going to be pretty interesting, but we'll cover them when we take a look at each of them. First, we have Tune of Joy Hatsune Miku, who is a Water Machina card. Her leader skill is pretty long, but it basically only gives you a modest 36 times attack multiplier, a crazy amount of combos and EX combos, and Roost no Possession effect. As for her team skill, she has plenty of staples like extended runestone movement time, sticky and burning ignoring, breaks fixed combo shield and puzzle shield, and most importantly, she has an additional 9 times attack bonus for a really easy condition, which is absolutely needed since her leader skill attack multiplier is so low. You also get a 3.9 attack bonus if there are weathered, electrified, or frozen runes, but that is going to be really situational. Lastly, you get a -1 cooldown reduction if you hit 39 combos or EX combos. So, if you look at her leader skill, you have the ability to generate plenty of combos and fulfill this condition, but the only thing is that there's no way to guarantee water runes every round. That is, until you take a look at her jackpot specific joy skill. If your leader is in joy mode, you will generate 5 enchanted guaranteed skydrop for each column, and this means that you will be able to generate plenty of water runes to trigger the combo increase skill and benefit from the -1 cooldown reduction. The only thing is that entering the joy mode for the first time will be a little slower since you won't be able to generate water runes in the beginning, so getting the 39 combos required for joy will take a couple rounds. In my opinion, she seems like a really good leader with a pretty fun playstyle. Once she enters joy mode, she will become a mini Asatoth, so that's going to be pretty fun. However, a couple of issues that I can see are in terms of flexibility when team building. A lot of her skills are tailored towards virtual singers, so in order to get the most out of her, you would want to get a mono collab team. You will also need to run at least 3 water members in order to get the most out of her combo increasing skills. And even then, 3 members will guarantee 39 EX combos, but will not guarantee 39 normal combos. You might need to run more water members in your team, but overall, she seems like a pretty good leader, and I cannot wait to test her out. In terms of her active skill, she has a pretty good one. She gives 3.9 attack bonus, hyperstate, time tunnel, and shield breaking utility. But the most important thing is the fact that you can ignore the beat mechanic altogether. This is going to be great as a burst option for Miku teams because you get a bunch of buffs to guarantee the kill whenever you activate this skill. Oh, and CD7 is not really an issue since you can get cooldown reduction every round once you enter joy mode. Next we have Dance of Pleasure Megurine Luka, who is a light Machina card. Her leader skill has 48 times attack bonus, 2.8 times HP and recovery, and a guaranteed skydrop skill. This one is actually pretty great since there's no limit stated on the skydrop. With a regular board, you can get as many as 15 extra runes or 30 if you run both leader and ally. Which, honestly, this is a really good chunk of attacking runes and will help you enter pleasure mode in 1 or 2 rounds. Her team skill has plenty of staples as well, such as extended runestone movement time, laser and bomb ignore, and runestone possession effect. She also has an enchanted trail and can get rid of electrified runes passively. However, the biggest thing is the fact that you can get a full heal and a 6-time attack bonus by dissolving light runes, which is such an easy condition given that you can generate light runes every round through her leader skill Skydrop. Her jackpot specific skill is also pretty good, but not as game changing as Miku's. When Luca is in pleasure mode, wait, that sounds wrong, well, she will electrify all enemies and deactivate them for 1 round. The deactivation is really beneficial since it basically gives you an extra round to deal damage or to stall for a cooldown. The electrifying though, that is going to be more situational and sometimes it might be harmful to you. This is because electrifying, ignite, and freeze actually conflict with each other, so if the enemy can only take damage when it's ignited, this skill will get in the way. Unless Matt had changed how status conditions work, but normally if someone is electrified, you are not able to ignite them. Overall, she is going to be a great leader in my opinion, and will also have a pretty fun playstyle with all the light Skydrop. You can also use any light cards in the game in her team, which makes her pretty flexible in that regard, but again, a lot of her skills only apply to the Miku collab cards. Another downside is that she relies too much on light Skydrop and will be hard countered by enemies that block your light runes. Her active skill is actually really good, and I can see it being used in Machina teams in the future as well. Removing Tornado is whatever, but breaking Duo, Trio, Quartet, and Quintet Elemental Shield while giving you a fixed 33 combos is actually insane. She also generates a board of hearts and the leader's attribute, which is pretty useful, especially in the future when different attribute Machina leaders come out. However, if you run her in the Miku collab team, you get even more benefits. You get more combos, another fixed board at the end of the round, which is honestly amazing. Imagine running a Joy Miku team with Luca. You get the 39 combos from Miku plus 33 from Luca, and that is going to be an insane amount of damage. The next card we're going to look at is Spikes of Rage, Kagamine Rin, and Len, which are a Fire Machina card. Pretty fitting since fire is often related to rage. Their leader skill is pretty simple, only providing 60 times attack multiplier and a 2.8 times recovery and HP multiplier. The biggest chunk of their kit is going to be in their team skill. It has movement extension time, burning nullification, and runestone possession effect. Rin and Len will also have a 4-round cooldown reduction and a permanent -1 on their cooldown, which is amazing considering that their skill is a CD5 skill. It also comes with combo increases if you dissolve groups of more than 4 runes, which can sometimes be tricky, but worth doing for the sake of 8 combos. This is important because once you hit 8 combos, you get a 4 times attack boost and the ability to break Duo, Trio, Quartet, and Quintet Elemental Shield. This means that for their playstyle, you always want to dissolve at least 2 groups of 4 runes so you can benefit from this damage increase. Something interesting about their team skill is that the type of rune that you start moving with in the round will be exploded at the end to generate fire runes and recover HP. This is pretty good, but will also be a little bit tricky if there are enemies that have fire nullifying, fire block, or anti-fire shields, since you're generating so many fire runes. But yeah, and lastly, their jackpot specific skill might be the most simple of all of them. It's just a 2 times attack boost to their own attack. In terms of their active skill, it has some utility, but it's not very universal for future Machina teams like Luca. The 3x3 explosion effect is nice, but in my opinion, a 3x3 square explosion is kinda small and doesn't provide much utility. The attack boost and extra attacks are pretty nice, but honestly it will only be good in a Rin and Len team since their team skills passively increase their own attack by a lot already. For future teams, a ×2 self-attack bonus can easily be replaced by other buffers. But don't get me wrong, the effects are kinda average, but in a Miku collab team, they'll be great thanks to the short cooldown that could potentially be spammed and cooldown reduction skills from other members. Okay, the last jackpot card is Mask of Sorrow Hatsune Miku, which is a Dark Machina. Her leader skill has 35 times attack bonus and a 39% damage reduction effect. The most important thing is that she has a 3 dissolve built into her leader skill, which is really fun because it will allow you to get a 3 dissolve with any of the other jackpot cards if you run this card as an ally. Her team skill also has some staples like extra movement time, sticky nullification, runestone possession effect, and puzzle shield break. She also has some really good skills like passive recovery when touching dark runes, and guaranteed dark skydrop for each rune dissolved in the first batch. This guaranteed skydrop is going to be vital for her playstyle. This is because she doesn't have any additional team attack multipliers on her team skill, which means that her overall attack multiplier will be stuck at 35 times, which is really low. Honestly, this is pretty standard for skydrop playstyles like Greek gods or 2 and 3 dissolve teams, like Guan Yu or Mesopotamia, Arya, things like that, because it is balanced on the fact that you get a lot of skydrop and a lot of combos, so a lower multiplier doesn't affect you as much. For 3 dissolve teams specifically like Guan Yu or Arya, etc., their biggest weakness is RNG. There are times when you can get a lot of skydrops, but sometimes you don't get any. This is actually where this team skill comes into play, and it fixes this weakness for Dark Miku. Thanks to this team skill, you'll be able to guarantee a lot of attacking runes, since dark runes have the effect of other runes and increased effect, and additionally you'll get more combos as well. And because of the guaranteed skydrop, you will guarantee more combos and you don't have to rely on RNG. Her jackpot specific skill is the best out of the 3 smaller jackpot cards. It gives you 5 extra attacks, which increases your damage output, but it also helps break 5 attribute attack shields passively, which is honestly really good, and you don't have to bring that utility. Overall, this is a really good improvement to the 3 dissolve playstyle, and I think she's going to be really fun to play. Her active skill is also really good for both her own playstyle and for Machina teams in the future. It gives you enchanted runes of all 5 attributes, which is really helpful for quintet shields and equal combo shields. But it also gives you a self-attack bonus and a combo bonus, which will pair up very nicely with all the other jackpot cards, since they all have a pretty high combo count. Most importantly for the future, her active skill removes cracked positions without conditions, so it's going to be great for any team in the future. Overall, all the jackpot cards are pretty decent with many advantages, and in my opinion they are the representation of power creep. All 4 jackpot cards have the strengths comparable to older black gold cards when they first got released, and that for me is absolutely crazy. Their playstyles are all very different, but I can definitely see that they are all going to be really fun to play and will also help you clear a lot of endgame stages. They do have some glaring weaknesses though, so keep that in mind. They are all hard countered by runestone block of their own attribute, and they are also not that flexible in terms of team building. This is because all of them have a lot of skills and passive skills that only benefit the Virtual Singer series. You can slot other members in them, but your damage output will suffer as a result. This is because they all have a lot of skills and passive skills that only benefit the Virtual Singer series. You can slot in other cards for utility, but if you want the maximum damage output, you will have to build a Mono Miku team. So yeah, keep that in mind before you pull. There's also 6 new common cards, and in my opinion they are just okay. Earth Miku has a nice continuous buff and a good deactivation effect, but the thing is that she generates a lot of Earth runes and Heart runes. And unfortunately, none of the jackpot cards benefit too much from Earth runes in particular, since they're water, light, dark, and fire. And the runestone possession effect is based on water, light, fire, and dark. So generating Earth runes will not be as good for them. Kaito is very situational since black and white zones and tornado are very uncommon. He might still be good to get since there's not too many cards that can generate protector runes, but yeah, overall his skill is very situational, so not that useful. Meiko has a nice skill with a board refresh, but other than that she doesn't provide much. He does give you some attack buffs, but one of them is situational since enclosed areas is pretty uncommon, and the other one is just a small multiplier which can be easily replaced by other cards in the game. Rin is actually nice because it gives you a Machina unlock, and it also has some conversion and self-attack increase, but I would personally only get her for the unlocking ability, which is actually pretty decent. On the other hand, Len is in my opinion a must-get card. He allows you to remove Hypnosis from Machinas, which is a very rare skill right now. He also comes with conversion and self-buff, but I would strongly recommend getting him for the Hypnosis counter effect because it will be useful in the future for other Machina teams. Lastly, we have Luca, which also has a very good skill. It allows you to transfer the drop rate of any attribute you choose to Dark Runes. At CD6, this is an amazing skill since it will help you get more combos and also get rid of runes that you don't want. For example, if there's an enemy with attribute blocking, you can use this skill to get rid of those runes. Also, this is going to be an absolutely broken member for Dark Miku, since the removal of one entire type of runestone will increase your combos thanks to the increased drop rates for the 3 Dissolve playstyle. This is my personal ranking for these common cards. First place goes to Len, since there's not many cards in the game that can remove Machina Hypnosis. Next is Luca, since she can modify drop rates and you can choose which type of rune to remove. Rin comes next for the unlocking potential for Machinas. Earth Miku next, since she has a continuous buff. 1.39 is not too much, but it's something. And it has a utility upon the activation, which is pretty good. Lastly, we have Meiko and Kaito, and yeah, their skills are not that great. I will say, if you're planning on getting the jackpot cards, you'll definitely get these common cards. But if you're planning on playing Dark Miku, you should definitely get Luca. And I would strongly recommend getting Rin and Len if you want to play a light Luca team. But yeah. Next we have the new special Dragonware, which will trigger the new rhythm game. These are actually usable by any Machina card, so this is going to be amazing, and needless to say, you should get them because they're always good to have. There's a new stage with Magical Girl Miku. Her skill is actually pretty good and provides plenty of utility and damage increase, and I can see her pairing up really well with Dark Miku as well. So now you have 2 members for her. There's another challenge stage with Underwater Miku, and she will be an amazing member for Joy Miku. She will give you plenty of water runes to achieve higher combos, and she will also increase your damage output thanks to the bubbleizing effect. She will also be good when you need a large number of water runes, like a 30 or 50 cumulative shield, so definitely get a copy of her and save it to have in your inventory just in case. And if you're planning on getting the 1% jackpot card, she is definitely a really good member for her. There's also a new transmigration event with Vampire Miku, who has 2 active skills, and honestly, she is a must-get card. She has one of the best defensive skills where damage is converted to HP recovery, and her second active skill lowers your recovery to 0, which is a very useful skill to have. There aren't many Machinas with this recovery reduction, so she is definitely worth having in your inventory. She also has lifesteal, but that is just a small bonus, but definitely nice to have as well. Last but not least, there's a new Battle Pass card which you should always get because they're free. The skill is actually pretty good since you can dodge the enemy's attack, but CD8 is really slow nowadays. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this week's GNN. There was so much to talk about this week, oh my god. But yeah, like I said in my previous video, the new jackpot characters are better suited for the current state of the game, and in my opinion they are more worth getting than the older adjusted characters. They aren't the best Makinas to date, so if you want to play a Makina team, I would strongly suggest pulling for them. That being said, I would like to remind you that this series shines the brightest with a mono virtual singers team, so not as flexible in terms of other members or team building. And I would strongly suggest you pull for this series if you're planning on playing a lot during this collab, since you can obtain all the new virtual singer characters and event cards. If you want something more flexible though, so something that is not limited to just Makinas or just limited to virtual singers, I would suggest waiting for the new Black Gold card that will come up in November. That's all I wanted to say about this GNN review, so please let me know in the comments if I missed anything or said anything wrong, and as always stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tarot Saviors content. But for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!生活充满乐趣，开始迎来最初旋律。